Good afternoon, class. Welcome to Chapter 3.3, Solve Multi-Step Equations. So here are the steps. Solving a linear equation may take more than 2 steps. Start by simplifying one or both sides of the equation, if possible. Then use the inverse operations to isolate the variable. So, 8x minus 3x minus 10 equals 20. So that is our linear equation. And simplify one or both sides of the equation if possible. So we have to look on this side of the equal sign and on this side of the equal sign. So on the left and right side of the equal sign, we have to ourselves, can we simplify either side? So we know that 20 is all alone, so we're not going to simplify the 20. But we have like terms here with the 8x and the negative 3x. So we can combine those. So when we combine those 8x minus 3x, we get 5x. And minus 10 equals 20. So then the next step, it says use the inverse operation to isolate the variable. So this is where we were yesterday. So really the equation says 5x minus 10 equals 20. But now we have 2 steps to isolate that x. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. So that cancels out our x's here. And we get 5x equals 30. So then we're still using the inverse operation to isolate the variable. So then we divide by 5 on both sides. That crosses out. So we isolated the variable of x. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. So going back to check your work, I would take it back to the equation where we combine like terms. You can do it at the beginning if you like, but you could go back to this equation and plug it back in. So we plug 6 in for x. So we know that 6 times 5 is 30. 30 minus 10 is 20. So always go back and check your work. So the steps involved are simplify either side of the equation of the equal sign, and then take the inverse operations, what we've done in 3.1 and 3.2. So now we have a problem that's involving the distributive property. 7x plus 2 parentheses x plus 6 equals 39. So we rewrote the problem again. And you're going to distribute that 2 to the x and to the 6. So we get 7x plus 2x plus 12 equals 39 because we use the distributive property there. Then we're going to simplify sides. So we're going to look on each side of the equal sign and see if we can simplify anything. And we have like terms here. So we simplify that to 9x plus 12 equals 39. Now we're going to use the inverse operation to make sure we can isolate it. So we're going to subtract 12, subtract 12. So 39 minus 12 equals 27. So 9x equals 27. Inverse operation, divide by 9. X equals 3. So go back on this problem right here. I would go back to the start just to verify that your steps along the way were correct as well. So I'd go back to the start on this one. So we know that 7 times 3 is 21. Plus, if we plug 3 in here, we know that 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. We know that 21 plus 18 is 39. So 39 does equal 39. So it checks out. So multiply by a reciprocal to solve the equation. So we have 3 over 2, parentheses, 3x plus 5, end parentheses, equals negative 24. Now, the fraction in front of the parentheses, there's 2 methods of thought here that we could go by. If we distribute that fraction, and it all comes out as whole numbers when we distribute it, then it works out great. But if we distribute that right now, we would have 9 over 2 and 15 over 2, and that would give me decimals. So what we want to do is we're going to get rid of the fraction first. So we're going to multiply the left and right side by the reciprocal. So that crosses off that side. We are left with 3x plus 5 equals, well, now we have negative 24 times 2 over 3. Well, we can reduce this here. So negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. So the inverse operation now, because we got rid of that, subtract 5. So we have 3x equals negative 27, or 21, I'm sorry. Divide by 3, x equals negative 7. So it's very important that you take the reciprocal away if it doesn't give you whole numbers. You could look and see if you can distribute it first. But if you distribute it, you better make sure that you have whole numbers out, because you don't want to work with decimals. So use the reciprocal to get rid of it on both sides. Make sure you reduce if possible. If you don't reduce, you multiply across, that you'll get the same solution. So plug this back into the original problem, and you should get negative 24 out. You can use mental math to check that as well. So let's solve these together. First problem here, 9d minus 2d plus 4 equals 32. Well, the first thing was, there's no parentheses in this problem, so the first thing is to simplify either side. So simplify the left side, 7d plus 4 equals 32. Now we have everything simplified, so we can start taking the inverse operation. 7d equals 28, divide by 7, and d equals 4. Plug d back in. Well, you can go back to this equation if you want. 4 times 7 is 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus 4 is 32, so that checks out. So number 2, we do have distributive property here, so we have to take care of that first. Now, on your test, this is where we have to be very careful. There's this negative here in front of the 2. So let's distribute that, but you're taking the negative along with it. So 6x minus 2x plus 10 equals 46. Combine like terms. Simplify each side first. Subtract 10, take the inverse operation. So we get, this is 6 here too, sorry. We get 4x equals 36. Divide by 4, x equals 9. Okay, go back and plug it in. Remember, you want to plug it back into the first part when there's a parentheses there. So 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. We know that 9, so we get 8 on this side. We know that 6 times 9 is 54. So 54 minus 8 is 46. So that checks out. Okay, always put your solution back in to double check. So here's our third problem. And we have this fraction on the outside. And it's a negative fraction, so we got to take it with us. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So that cancels on that side. So we got 4a minus 1 equals, this will cross out, reduce, that's a 7, so 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. Add 1. For a equals negative 34. Divided by 4 on both sides. And I'm not sure, I must have did something wrong here. There probably was a plus before, because a plus would give us a whole number out. So I apologize for this, but this answer is going to be a mixed number. So negative 34 over 4, which gives us a equals negative 7 I'm sorry, negative 8.5. So if you plug negative 8 back in, it will give you the correct answer. This is probably supposed to be a plus right here to give us a whole number out. So I apologize about that. So if you have any questions, please go back. It's very important that you use the steps that were given to you, whether it's distributive or if you're solving an equation. Make sure you're simplifying each side of the equation first. Okay, how to get rid of that fraction in front of the parentheses. And this will be going on throughout the whole year, so you have to make sure that you have this rule down. Okay, so here's your homework. That's not a negative 2, so. Not sure what just happened there, but I think you saw your homework problems. If not, go back a little bit and make sure to let me keep it for now. Let me go back, sorry. There you go. So here's your homework problems. So 4x minus 7 parentheses x minus 2, end of parentheses equals 26. Number 2 is negative 3x plus 4 parentheses x minus 2 equals 15. Then number 3, fraction 3 over 5 parentheses 2x minus 4, end of parentheses equals 18. Any questions, please let me know, and please email me. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.